Welcome back to Distant Gooner TV. Great to have you here. This is the channel where season tickets do not count. You do not need a season ticket to have an opinion on our club. So you're in the right space. Please get involved. This is your community, and I don't care whether you're from Lagos, New York, Melbourne, Sydney, Leeds, Manchester, whatever. It doesn't matter. As long as you're an Arsenal fan, this is the place for you. Please get involved and have your opinion and have your say in everything Arsenal. So you know what you need to do. What are you waiting for? Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing. Please subscribe to the channel. And make sure you're hitting that bell. This is your match preview for the Newcastle game on Sunday at the Emirates. Let's get into it, people. Right, without any delay, let's get into the form. And my God, it makes grim reading. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, people. Bloody hell, look at this. Liverpool 2-2, the draw on the weekend. The loss, of course, to PSG 2-1. The loss at home to Bournemouth 2-1. The loss at home to PSG 1-0. And the draw at home to Crystal Palace, which let's face it, felt like a loss anyway. I think I've rarely seen this season such a shocking run of form. I mean, there's multiple reasons for it. I appreciate that all our eggs were in one basket, even though I don't agree with that. You know, we should have put in better performances in the league. We should have cemented second place by now if we weren't going to win the league, which of course we wasn't, and Liverpool won it. But this is shocking. This is fucking embarrassing, to be honest. It's absolutely shocking. I mean, there was glimmers of hope, I guess, on the weekend. You know, the first half was shit, but the second half, we did improve. We fought our way back into it. And I didn't expect anything, in all fairness, from Anfield. We never really get anything there over recent years anyway. So, in the end, I was pleased, I've got to say, with that we actually came out with a 2-2 draw. But yeah, when you look at those games, man, it's just... You know, and I appreciate the context, you know, in the sense of the quality of the opposition we're playing. Liverpool, champions, we know. PSG twice. Amazing team, as we saw. I mean, but Bournemouth, yeah, on their day, they're good. But come on, at home, people, we should be winning. And the Palace one, definitely. I mean, it was just shit. I remember that second goal from Arteta, you know, the lapse in concentration from Saliba that let them back in. So, yeah, we never should have let that game get away. But yeah, it's got to improve. It's got to improve. Let's look at Newcastle. And they've been flying, haven't they? I mean, ever since they won the Carabao Cup, and obviously at our expense to some extent, you know, they beat us in the semi-final. And they went on to win that. And of course, they've been kind of flying ever since, really. Yeah, they've had the odd blip here and there, but generally speaking, they've been winning. They score a lot of goals. They don't concede a lot, bar the one that we can see there, the Villa game. But that was a bit of an anomaly. You know, if you look at the form over a longer period, you know, they've been fairly consistent and strong. And like I say, scoring goals, the threat that they've got going forward is frightening. But yeah, what can we say? Look, over the last 5 games, so they beat Palace 5-0. Yes, they lost to Villa 4-1, which was a bit of a blow for them, but they picked it back up since then, to be fair to them. Beating Ipswich 3-0. Let's face it, most teams do. Brighton 1-1. And yeah, the last game was an important win over Chelsea because, of course, Chelsea equally were trying to almost creep into the back door in terms of those Champions League places, but that kind of put a nail in that coffin, really. And yeah, I mean, they're going to be flying off the back of that into our game on Sunday. And man, we've just got to be on it, people. We have to be on it. Listen, we know what they're about. They've got frightening pace up front and down the wings. So you've got Gordon, who's kind of been interchanged recently with Harvey Barnes, who I think is another quality player. The directness of them, the pace, and dare I say, the efficiency that we are lacking. Like, I look at somebody like Martinelli, for example, and I look at Newcastle's wingers, and I just think they get more out of them. You know, even on the other side, Jacob Ramsey. I mean, he's no major star, if you like, but he's been so good this season, so consistent, and he always has an end product of his game. You know, whether it's the odd goal here and there, or assists, there's always something there. And it's the same with the likes of Harvey Barnes. We know what Anthony Gordon's all about as well. And of course, you know, the big threat is Isak, isn't it? I mean, I can't see us getting him now anyway. And if you've watched any of my videos, he's not, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to turn my nose up at signing Isak, but I personally prefer Gyökeres. He would be my target. He would be my favourite for that striker role. But anyway, we know, we've seen it this season when they've beat us a number of times now, including that Carabao Cup game. And yeah, he's just going to be a massive threat again. And of course, whilst Kivior has been great coming in for Gabriel, it's these kind of games where you'd love to have a Gabriel in the team to nullify that threat. And then midfield as well. We've really got to be at top form in midfield because, you know, with Guimaraes and what's his name? The other Brazilian guy. Joe Linton, that's it. Mind blank for a minute. You know, they've got so much energy in there, so much strength. And, you know, they like to control the game. They like to hit on the break as well. I mean, we're going to have our work cut out, people. We really are. I mean, we need to be putting in our best performances and far better than what we've seen when I just showed that form guide. You know, we need Partey to have a disciplined, strong game, keeping them at bay, supporting the defenders. And, of course, you know, I'm praying that Rice is fit. I noticed that he trained the other day, so I'm hoping that he is fit. And we need him. He has been the major difference for us, you know, over the last few months. He's the driving force in the team. He is going to be the threat. And boy, do we need him in this game. Ødegaard, you know, I've seen glimpses, I guess, over the last couple of games where you kind of seen bits of an improvement there. Certainly in the last game where he was looking to actually take the initiative and actually take a shot on goal, which was a nice change. So, yeah, hopefully he can start getting better and better, and boy does he need to, because we all know he's been rubbish. I don't need to harp on about it again. And yeah, again, it all comes down to the wide players again. You know, say it every week. Saka, who has been quiet, but then again, he's not. You know, that's not a criticism. He's just not fit. You know, he's been pushed back into this team because there's no fucker else to put in the team. You know, it's all the Saka show. You know, even Martinelli, I know he scored in the last game, but you know, we really need to see something from him, a clinicalness and something different. You know, and whether that's just coming inside more and not just literally going down the wing and just putting a ball in. And I mean, yeah, that's fine, but just change the game up a bit because he's so predictable, I find. And again, he's not clinical when it comes down to it. It was a great header on the weekend. I'm not taking that away from him, but I think he could definitely improve there. And to me, he's the threat when he's in the middle. So I'd like to see him kind of make that move a bit more in this game and interchange a bit more, because of course we're going to see Trossard come back in. Mikel Merino will be suspended following his sending off in the last game. I'm actually pleased about that. I think, to be fair to Trossard, particularly in that last game, I think he was our best player. You know, always willing, always showing for the ball. You know, generally not losing it as well and keeping it ticking, having efforts on goal, trying to create something. He was really, really good. So, and I hope that I do see what we saw at Anfield in terms of particularly that second half with that interchanging ability of both Trossard and Martinelli, because I think they need to. You know, we need to change it up a bit because, you know, it's just getting all too predictable. So, yeah, I'm hoping to see a bit of that. But ultimately, I think we need to dominate that midfield. That's where the game can be won. And we need to be on it at the back. You know, Saliba needs to have a really strong game. Kivior, again, disciplined. And particularly Partey, supporting them. make sure that we're just not. I mean, it's not just Isak that is the threat, but of course, we need to stop him getting the ball because, he will rinse any of our defenders, to be honest, in terms of pace and everything else. So we just need to be really on it. And it's that time, starting 11, my starting 11. Now, if you're new to the show, this is what I do for most match previews. I don't end up predicting Arteta's team because I think we could all do that. You know what I mean? It's not like we've got an abundance of riches that we can pick on. And not only that, we know that he invariably doesn't change things anyway. So I like to really put my spin on it. So what would I do? And this is where I want you to get involved, people, as well. Let me know in the comments, what would your starting 11 be? Do you agree with my decisions? Would you change any of them in and out? So yeah, get in touch. But let's have a look. And again, I say, Arteta's predictable. I'm going to get people saying that I'm very predictable because I didn't have to change too much of this. But again, there's just not much options. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I've gone with. Now, let me start from, obviously, the back four anyway. Raya in goal. I mean, the back four to me picks itself. So Lewis Skelly, I think, has nailed that position. I know that Calafiori's come back now. He's obviously trying to regain his fitness. And he's good to come off the bench, but I think Lewis Skelly, for now, for me anyway, has nailed that position. So he definitely gets a start for me. Saliba, Kivior, no-brainer. And Timber, hoping that he's fit, I would put him in there. Of course, if he's not fit, White would come in, but we know at the moment White is just not on it. He's trying to regain that fitness, but it's hard for him. He's missed basically the whole season. So Timber there gets the nod for me. As we've talked about, Thomas Partey, key role, disciplined, marshal that middle of the park. Don't go crazy. Well, he doesn't really go crazy and go forward anyway, but he really needs to be disciplined because sometimes he does try to get involved and create the play higher up the pitch, but we can't afford to have him doing that because if it breaks down, which it let's face it does quite a lot, they're going to be flying on the break. With the likes of Isak, Gordon if he plays, Harvey Barnes potentially. Yeah, so I think he really needs to have a disciplined game, stay in that middle of the park, support Saliba and Kivior and keep it tight and keep it strong there. And then let Rice do what he does, power forward, make breaks into the box. He really at the moment is the driving force of the team. It should in theory be Ødegaard, but his form, as we know, is just falling off a cliff. So it's all down to Rice again. But I would still pick Ødegaard in the team at the moment, especially for an important game like this. I know many people would probably call for Nwaneri at this point. And like I've said before with Nwaneri, I think he's a quality player, don't get me wrong. And he will be amazing. But, there's been games recently where, yes, he's done the odd thing, but he's also not really been involved in the game, I think. I'm just being honest now, and it's not a criticism. He's learning at this level, and that's absolutely fine, but I just feel like he's not involved in that much of the game. I mean, perhaps that's why he puts him out wide. I don't know, but I don't think he's a wide player anyway. But certainly anyway, I would stick with Ødegaard in the team, and let's face it, as I say, the top three picks itself. Of course, if Mourinho wasn't suspended, would he have put Trossard in? That would have been a debate. I would have personally gone with Trossard. But yeah, that's my front three for this one. Martinelli on the left, Trossard up front. But like I said, I'd like to see them interchange a lot more. And Saka as well, for that matter. I'd like to see more fluidity with those front three, because I think where we lack in clinicalness with those front three, I think by interchanging and just keeping Newcastle guessing a bit, or any opposition for that matter, I just think it makes them much more of a threat. They've all got a bit of pace about them and creativity and finishing ability. Well, certainly Saka and Trossard have. Martinelli a bit debatable, or at least not consistent enough. But yeah, I'd like to see them chop and change about. Saka move over to the left now and again, push Trossard out the other side, and just interchange. So keep Newcastle guessing. But yeah, let me know what you think, people. I think, as I say, most people, to be fair, would probably pick a similar team to that. But as always, keen to let you know your thoughts, your criticisms. What would your 11 be? Let me know. Prediction time. So I'm going to be confident on this one, and I'm going to go for an Arsenal win. Now, I honestly think it could be 2-0, 2-1. I'll say 2-1. Now, I don't know where this confidence has come from. You know, we've seen the form guide. It's fucking shocking. It's awful. Newcastle are strong. They've beaten us most of the season. But I think, looking at those factors that I've talked about, this team owes us a performance. They really, really do. I don't know about you, but to me, second matters. I mean, yes, we wanted first, right? But we're in second, and I think the way that it looks and the way that the season has panned out, if we end up falling to third or fourth, I just think it's not a good look. It's really not a good look, people. So it's so important in my head, anyway, to get second. And I think if we can beat Newcastle on Sunday, I think that goes some way to cementing that. I don't know the mathematics at the moment off the top of my head. It gives us a strong position to go on and achieve that. And like I said, I think the players owe us a performance. They really do over the last few weeks. And I'm favouring them to do it. I really am. So let me know what you think, guys. And that's a wrap. Great to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said at the start of this video, this channel does not require an Arsenal season ticket to have a valid opinion on our club. You know, how many times have you heard people say, well, you're not a match-going supporter, so, your opinion doesn't count, blah, 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 all this bullshit. Not having it at all. We're not all in a privileged position where we can go week in, week out. Some of us are geographically challenged, let alone anything else. So, fuck all that bullshit. I'm just interested in what you guys have got to say, and let's build this community. Make sure that you like the video, and as I said, you have to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button now. Make sure you're hitting that bell and notifying yourself of all of the content coming your way. I've recently dropped a podcast. Please check it out. Cannon Talk. I'll be dropping that weekly, just as a kind of roundup in terms of the activity on and off the pitch, including the transfer talk. So go and check it out now. Great to have you here. See you soon.